A clutch is a machine that connects or disconnects the power of the engine to the transmission. Why use a clutch when riding a motorcycle? Why don't high-performance motorcycles use the convenient CVT? This video will show you the function of the clutch and how the clutches of most motorcycles work. If you ride a motorcycle during peak hours in the city, you may have to operate the clutch frequently. But why not use CVT? This is because the CVT is driven by a belt, which makes its mechanical efficiency relatively low. So, when should we use the clutch? First, when waiting for the red light, because the engine still continues to rotate. If you want to stop the motorcycle temporarily, you must use the clutch to separate the engine from the transmission system. Another time to use the clutch is when the motorcycle is just started. The motorcycle may immediately increase its speed from a low speed to a high speed. In order to avoid the situation where the motorcycle rushes forward, it is necessary to use half clutch. How does the clutch work? Most motorcycles usually use wet multi-plate clutches. Its parts include clutch basket, inner hub, several sets of steel plates and friction plates, and pressure plates fixed by screws and springs. Its power is input from the crankshaft into a clutch basket and output through the transmission. Because it needs the ability to connect and cut off the power of the transmission system, the clutch can be divided into two parts. One is that the clutch basket meshes with the external tooth of the friction plate. These two parts and the crankshaft are continuously rotating, but they are not connected to the shaft of the transmission. The other is that the inner hub meshes with the internal teeth of the steel plates, which does not rotate with the crankshaft, but is connected to the transmission. The inner hub is in the clutch basket, and a stack of alternating friction plates and steel plates are placed between the two. The pressure plate is covered on the clutch pack. The spring is bolted into the inner hub with a screw and the two parts are combined. When the friction plate with the large friction coefficient and the steel plate are bolted, the clutch basket and the friction plate drive the steel plate and the inner hub to rotate by friction and transfer the power output from the engine to the transmission. When the hand lever is pulled, the actuator arm can push the push rod of the clutch to relax the spring of the pressure plate. When the friction plate does not drive the steel plate, the power of the crankshaft and the transmission can be separated. Because the space in the motorcycle is limited, the friction area must be enlarged in order to increase the torque of the friction force. So a multi-plate clutch is used. The wet clutch oil can be used to cool the machine and its wear resistance. I'm learning about motorcycles and I hope the content I shared is helpful to you.